If they had insisted, at least for a public commission of inquiry, some kind of hearing, what is happening today would not happen. But because the Fulani succeeded in committing Holocaust and they got away scot-free, they got away with it. That is what is emboldening them to set up their checkpoints. That is why if they slap you and you slap back, they kill you. That is why when we come out to protest, they shoot us. Because they were not held to account before. And those that want to be called leaders failed in their duty as leaders then and are still failing till this very day. Armenians in America, again. You know Armenia? Yes. Have you heard about the Armenian genocide?
Yes.
Have you heard about it before?
Yeah. 1921.
1921.
1921.
Armenian genocide was recognized here by Congress.
It's true.
When? A few days ago. Because Armenians in America said if we don't do anything now, the Turkish government can come tomorrow and even kill more people. So when you bring your suffering to light, you're putting the perpetrators on notice that the world is aware of what you did before. So if you start again, they will hold you responsible. But we have not done it. I don't live in America. I said it from the beginning, those who started with us from initially. 2 sets of people will get us Biafra. 2 sets of people. Or 2 things will need to happen, 2 things will need to happen before Biafra will come. What are those things? The involvement of our women and the rising up of those of you in America. Only America, only. Unwaneba can give us Biafra quietly and peacefully. Are you doubting me?
No. We do it. We must.
Everybody. I keep saying this all the time. The Somalis that came yesterday, are they more than us in number in America? Let's be honest. Are they more in number than us?
They are less than 10,000.
But they're organized.
Yes.
They are organized. I wish for once we can put ego, put our self-importance, put our very greedy nature behind and try to be fools, maybe for about 6 months. We've been doing something, we've been wise all these years, we've accomplished nothing. Let's try to be foolish a bit, just only 6 months. And you'll be shocked what we can achieve in America. That 6 months, no envy, no jealousy, no greed. Just do as you're told. For only 6 months, you will see what we'll achieve in America. Because our enemies are not relenting. And don't know when plenty of them. There are those in Britain that believe that the coming of Biafra will signal the end of the world. Listen to me, everything I tell you is gospel. It may sound very outlandish today, but tomorrow you'll be the one to write on Facebook. It's true, I heard it before. There are those that believe that Biafra, of course it's true of anywhere, that Biafra is the light of Africa. When you meet them during our normal routine meetings with them, they will never tell you that. They know you more than you know yourselves. They know we are industrious. They know we are blessed. They know we are hardworking. They know that engineers are born from our mother's womb. They know that very well. It is their responsibility to stop you from imagining. So you have more enemies than you can ever dream of. But every power on this very earth belongs to God in heaven. Yes. And as I pray all the time, do you know why we are successful most times? Because when I go down on my knees to pray to Chukwu Abiyama, I say to him, are you not telling me that you love the Fulanis more than you love your children? And within 2 or 3 days, things will begin to happen. Amen. There is always confusion in their camp. Whose phone is that? Unbelievable. They will say, put your phones on mute, please. Try and put your phones on silent, please. Yes. It's distracting. Distracting. So now that the Middle Belt have realized, let me tell you what Danjuma said, which is what I have been saying on Radio Biafra from day one. In Yoruba land, everybody seems to have lost their voice. They are scared, and people appear not to care about what is happening. They don't care. And now everybody is being consumed. The Fulanis cannot come and take the East without, and leave the West alone. It's not possible. And they have the numbers to do so. They have opened their borders. Your own borders are closed. The doors are open. You get up the next day and you say, I'm a Nigerian. You are helping Abba Kyari and the Fulani cabal, the Janjaweed, the Caliphate, to fulfill their mission and their goal without you knowing it. Every day you wake up and you say, I am a Nigerian, you are advancing the Fulani cause. The only thing that drives them away, both physically and in the spirit, is the name Biafra. Once you mention Biafra,
spirit. Always. Spirit.
Danjuma said, if you want the details of what is happening in Nigeria, I'll give it to you privately. But I, Nnamdi, I'll give you mine in public. Yes. Yes. In public. That's what he said. He said it here. If I tell you what is happening in Nigeria today, you will no longer sleep. He went on to say, sir, so Chief Ayo Adebanjo's warning and advice is very timely. If you want details, I will give it to you privately.
At the age of 88.
Somebody said, what is he afraid of? And I say, because he is not a Biafran. Yeah. Only Biafrans speak the truth and damn the consequences. Yeah, it's true. Only us. No other set of people. And this is something we all need to understand. The same isolate and kill they employed when they killed Sarawiwa, they used to kill Adakaboro before him. They will continue to use to kill us, to divide, to kill, to eliminate.
That's the only thing they know.
Once you're vulnerable, they pick you up and you're gone. Despite all the years of service and servitude to them, all ignored. I remember now, I even remember when we were small. You know, when you were born, they don't give you goat or chicken, isn't it? As a child. And you grow up with that chicken. You'll be feeding it. Is that correct? Yes. Don't you love the chicken? Eh?
I said,
are you all listening to what we're saying? You come back from school, you drop your school bag, the first thing you want is a cooker. Do you know the funniest thing? One Easter or one Christmas or New Year festival, your mom will ask you to go and bring that same chicken and kill it. Some of us turn to emergency vegetarian after that. Because we can't believe it's that lovely chicken that is in the stew now. That is our life with the Fulanis in the zoo. They are looking. I have a Fulani friend. I am sure. Onyema. When I preached to him and told him that they're wasting their time, they said, no, I have a friend. I have one of my friends in Sokoto. One of my friends in Kanu. One of my friends in Meduguri. But I can't. Did none of his friends come? Did they come? No. They came to IPOB to do something about it. That is your lot with the Fulanis in the zoo. They pretend they love you, they pretend they like you, but they despise you. And it is a good thing now that the Yorubas are beginning to realize that they themselves are not immune to what the Fulanis are doing. You say you are a Nigerian. The Yoruba Fulani servant will say they love you. They will say, oh, why are you asking for Biafra? That's what they will ask you on social media. Oh, I grew up with Adeyemi. We all grew up in Lagos. I'm against Biafra. I don't want this your Biafra thing. This your Biafra of a thing. I want to get the right word. Not even that's your Biafra of the thing. That's your Biafra of the thing.
That's how they say it. That's how they say it.
Have you asked yourself these questions before? Why is it that no seaport is working? Have you ever asked yourself that question before?
Yes.
Have you asked yourselves that question before?
Yes.
Why is Iguacha seaport not working? Why is Calabar not working? Why is Warri not working? Have you asked yourselves that question before? Before you decide to be a good Nigerian, have you asked yourself why you have no international airport? On my way here. To suffer us, to kill, to impoverish us, to put us in so much agony and so much pain. The hold up yesterday is from Head Bridge on Echatuore. Did you see the videos? Hold up. And I keep asking myself, we have more people in the US than any other ethnic group. Is that correct? Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Why must you keep quiet when such a thing is happening to your people? Do you think that the love of your people is by wearing Isiago and going to a function on a Saturday? That doesn't mean you love your people.
Never.
It doesn't mean that at all.
Never.
It means you're a greedy, gluttonous fool.
Forever.
The only time you identify with your people, albeit so cowardly, is when there is rice or chicken and the offense are involved. And drink. The way you treat your people, if those we are meeting here in America were to treat us that way, do you think that Biafra will come?
No.
We get better treatment from foreigners and the Ocha white people more than our own. The way things are back home, are you happy?
No.
Are you happy?
No. No.
Anybody who lives in America and you have children, you say Biafra will not come. Your children cannot follow you home. Your name will die in America.
Yes, of course. It's your...
If you are in America and you say no to Biafra, you say no to IPOB, you see what is happening and you keep quiet, you will lose your children in America. They will marry white people here. They will marry Hispanics here. Your name will die in this very place.
Amen. 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 Yeah, man. Oh.
Let me ask you people, do you think we are doing what we are doing to be what? Huh?
No.
Why do you think we are doing? Let's be honest with ourselves. Why do you think I'm doing what I'm doing? With
Love
Biafra.
of country. Love of your people.
Love of your people.
Let me say it one more time. I am not leading IPOB to become the president of Biafra. I will not be, no matter what. I am not doing it so I will get contract or land
Or influence.
or influence.
Whatever.
As I told them yesterday, once Biafra comes, I will go to a place called Iyojitan in my village. I will build a house and I will build a ditch around it. I fill it with water and I will put crocodiles inside it.
How are you coming out? How do you get out of there?
Because serving people is not easy. is the most difficult job in the world. I see Trump sweating sometimes what they're doing to him. I keep saying to myself, I wish Trump can come and head one group alone in Biafra land. I'm sure our coordinators are here, they can testify, isn't it? Our coordinators are here, isn't it? Sometimes I want my name, but all the same, we love our people because we're very unique. A very special breed. In spite of all the, I wouldn't call it disappointment, in spite of all the challenges, I think that's a better word for it, we're encountering. There are people in prison right now. People have sacrificed themselves for this very effort. 28 died in my house that I may live. Because of them, we march on. And because of them, Biafra will come. I have no doubt. And our message to all those who are unfortunate enough to find themselves in the zoo, courtesy of the British, the mission of IPOB is to set everybody free. We are not going to come to your land to ask you what is in your land. Instead, we'll give you the ones we have. And I want to repeat on record, that every part of the zoo will receive abundant oil and gas to do with as they please. Anybody telling you that we are fighting for Biafra because of oil and gas, you know that person is very, very stupid. It is in our interest as Biafrans to make sure that Yoruba has oil and gas in abundance to grow the economy. Yes. Fulani the same. You have to understand what economic growth is all about. I will even go as far as the whole of West Africa, for the simple reason that it is in our interest that they are also developed. In our interest. I've said it before. I think America is about to sign the NAFTA. Is it the new revised NAFTA?
Yeah, by Trump.
Have they signed it?
No, not yet. It's still there.
It is in the interest of America that Canada is doing well. Yes, that Mexico is doing well. Yes. If Mexico is doing well, do you think they will cross over the border to come in here? If we don't help to grow the economies of Oduduwa, of our neighbors, so to speak, then the influx will be unsustainable for us.
It's true.
And we don't want that.
We don't want that.
We don't. Not at all. Therefore, everything we preach, everything you hear, this effort to restore Biafra is the responsibility of every man, woman, and child in the USA. The state of Israel was born here.
Yes.
Albania was born here. Kosovo was born here. Yeah. Even Eritrea was born here. Yeah. They don't even hide it. Southern Sudan was born here. Yeah. They say that those with Abraham as father don't go to hell. Is that correct? We have all of you in America. Why should I come to Capitol Hill and be struggling all the time to convince your own congressman or woman or your senator when you're there already? And it won't cost you anything. And they'll even listen to you more than they'll listen to me. These are the assets we have that the zoo cannot stop. Your congressman is not going to give your name to DSS back home. Of course not. You can make phone calls. You can follow them on Twitter. You can tweet, can't you? Yes. Don't tweet anyone, just tweet your local, even your mayor, and say this is what is happening in my land. We need to bring the issue of Biafra to the streets of America.
They have already sent us Christmas greetings to most senators.
Very good. These are the things, because you are the ones voting for them.
Yes.
These are the things you need to understand. I don't know how to say it sometimes for us to begin to appreciate the enormity of this very task and the need for those of you in America to rise up and do the needful. Do what you're supposed to do. We are marching next year in July, is that correct?
Yes.
If you have not taken your holidays, if you've not booked that July again, no, I think they said no. That we cannot short the 20 something. July 20th.
Okay, after their independence, okay. Which is good.
July 20th.
Everybody will be back.
June 20th. They brought it forward to June. June 20th.
Okay.
They've changed from July now to June. You know, we are tenants. Is anything the landlord says that we'll do.
The flyer will come out.
Okay.
The flyer will be out very soon. Now, July 20th. June
20th.
I'm here July and I'm listening. June 20th. June 20th. Yes?
2020.
Go and get all your children and your grandchildren out of school on that very day. Is it holiday period or is it school period?
Yeah, school is about to close. Which is elementary school.
Elementary school.
Yeah, and high school.
We need all our children in Washington, D.C. for this very match. Everybody must come.
I can show her number.
Everybody must come to let the world know how big we are here.
Educated population.
Once we do it, they'll start looking for us. We no longer look for them. They'll come to us.
Game of numbers.
Because we have the numbers. And we can make a difference. It is about time that we begin to reason. As I said, the next 6 months of 2020, I am begging all of you, those who are here and those all over the world, we have been doing our sense for many years.
More than 80 years.
It got us nowhere. I am begging Biafrans all over the world to try to be stupid for the first 6 months of next year.
Yes.
And you see what we'll achieve together as a people. Yes. The only people now stopping the Janjaweed from their march to the south is IPOB. Are you in doubt? No. Are you in doubt? No. Chairman, Andy, I'm here. They don't know what is happening back home. We are everywhere. We own the land. The land belongs to us. And there is nothing Alamajiri can do about it. That land is ours. And they can never come in. And I have not told you, also, as a result of the moves we are making in Washington, telling them what the army is doing, I also got information today that the Nigerian army have decided to pull out of Biafra land and places they're occupying. It's here. Some of you don't understand what diplomacy is. When you meet a congressman or a congresswoman and you're telling them these are your problems, they may say to your face, I'm not interested, this thing, go and resolve it. But because they are, they have conscience. When they go back, they think about it, and they see there is merit in what you're saying. And then they act upon it. They may not tell you. This country is here to serve a purpose. And we built this country. As I tell them. America is strong today all over the world because they received 200 years of free labor. Is that correct or not? You know, I speak the truth. Even when I went to China, I also spoke the truth. Those 200 years of free labor came from our ancestors here. Is that true or false? True. So we must take advantage of our situation here to help our land back home. Very, very important. Very, very important. Very, very important, please. The Zoo Army said that they have no security challenges in the east. But all the same, they have to stay there because of IPOB. And as I keep saying, every generation that will come after us, even their children and their children's children, they will remember IPOB.
Yes. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere.
Oh, Forever Foundation.
Yes.
Sani said to Danjuma, let Nigeria burn and be free instead of hiding the truth.
Good.
So those who were scared to speak out before, they're now speaking. Because we sacrificed a lot of lives. This same IPOB remained very resolute.
Yes.
That is why those with a little courage are now coming out to say what previously they were afraid of saying. And he went on to say, he was a former senator, to say Nigeria is sitting on many fault lines is an understatement. The difference between IPOB and any other group, any other nationality, any other ethnic group is that we say something, we stand on that very thing that we are saying, and we do something about it. Unlike the rest.
Yes.
Unlike the rest. And that is why we remain ever so formidable.
Yes.
My happiness today is that right across Biafra land, I said across the whole of Biafra land, everywhere is reverberating and resonating to the message that IPOB is issuing to our people. IPOB in Lebanon, of all places, Lebanon,
Even in Turkey. It's amazing.
is entirely made up of our brethren from Efik.
Awesome. Wow.
And they do. I don't want you to think that IPOB is an Igbo affair or restricted across the Niger. Everybody wants to be a part of it because they have seen the light, they have seen the truth. That what we have been saying is the truth. We are not against anybody. We are not asking to take your land, to take nothing at all, but for everybody to be free to decide what they want to do with their lives.
Yes. Simple.
That is why today they reference us. And no fences will be. Are they going to mend any fence? The zoo? Oh, what's their name? I don't want to mention them. Those that work for Anga Abdullah. The people that issue them quit notice. All those who go eating Al-Majri. Do you know what they said? Let me see if I can find it, because anytime I do news analysis, I always use what they say. I always use what comes out of their mouth. Do you know what the Al-Majri boy said? He said that they should go and do that the zoo should incorporate referendum in their constitution. Did anybody read that very news? No, you didn't. I will find it. Uche, did I send it to you? I'm going to find it. That was what they said. That they want. I have it with me. I have it with me. Somebody sent it to me on my way here. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Because these are the things that we are doing that some of you do not know is resonating within the zoo. The person actually said, and many good news on my way here, to be honest with you. Even the Wall Street Journal have written about what the Fulanis are doing. Is here. Was, of course, on my way here was sent to me. So that the work we are doing on Capitol Hill is yielding a lot of results. Of course it is. Of course it is. I want to find it for you so you can read it. It's from the Nation newspaper. Nation newspaper. Not Tinubu. Al-Majri Nako. Al-Majri, those Al-Majri kids. Northern group seeks inclusion of referendum in constitutional amendment. And they gave reason as to why. Nation, go and look for Nation newspaper. Kenyan network ever. Nation newspaper, please look for it. Northern group seek for referendum to be included in the constitution amendment. Look for it and find it for me. If you find it, read that for me, please. And they said it is because of IPOB. Find it for me. For those of you that thought that what we are doing was meaningless, that is confirmation. You know, have you seen it? Has anyone seen it? We know network in America. You know, internet in America.
The creator of communication.
Find it for me, please. It's on Nation newspaper.
The communication inventor.
It's okay. Just don't. No. Absolutely. Have you found it? You found it.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Northern Group seeks inclusion of referendum in constitutional amendment. They are now urging the National Assembly to, without further delay, because they know we are destroying the zoo, without further delay, commence the amendment of the Constitution with the primary aim of inserting the referendum clause in the Constitution that will pave the way for the restructuring of the country. They also went on to say that they are now faulting the failure of previous administrations for failing to include referendum in the Constitution. Listen, which would have guaranteed member ethnic nations for the very first time. They are acknowledging that the zoo is made up of ethnic nations. Their right to self-determination. According to this Alamajiri that was saying this, if this clause had been in the Constitution, the country would have been saved. Listen to the grammar. The country would have been saved the violent effects of agitations by militant ethnic groups in the country, such as IPOB. And I told you before that after dealing with them, they will beg us to take our Biafra and go. I told you, after dealing with them, they will say, take this your Biafra and go. If the Fulani are wise, if they are sensible, they will give us referendum tomorrow morning. Or else, we will destroy the Fulani image all over the world, that they will be worth nothing.
It's done. Yeah, it's almost done. They have been exposed. It's exposed already.
They will be worth nothing. They are playing with us. They don't know how determined we are. They don't understand how focused we are. They don't understand what we are prepared to sacrifice for Biafra. They underestimated us. And it's a good thing they did.
Yes.
If they knew how serious we were, I'm sure when I was arrested, they would have killed me or shot me on the spot.
And damn it.
Now they know. Now they know we are Biafrans. Now they know there is no going back. Now they understand how serious we are. The Yorubas can choose to be slaves in Nigeria, but Biafrans will never be slaves in Nigeria.
They say, never.
They have lost their voice, but we have not lost ours.
Yes.
We will continue to speak. I also have a message for all component ethnic groups in Biafra land. Those that they will give peanuts to and tell you, oh, don't worry, we'll clean your village for you. Those that will go to, because that's what they do all the time. I call it the warrant chief methodology. You know, we had no, forget all this Eze thing you're saying, we had none before. Are you aware of that? Do you know that? When somebody says, oh, my father is the traditional ruler or the Eze or the king, there is no king in our land.
Never.
These are warrant chiefs imposed on us by the British. And that is what the Fulanis are doing now. They determine who your leaders should be. I said it before. Some people didn't quite understand. You see that Emeka that idiot. What if yes? We are going to set an example with him. They were the first set of people. When the Fulanis came into our land, when they came into Oka and beyond during the war, their aim, according to Murtala Muhammad from his mouth, their aim was to kill everybody. Every male child up to the age of 10 to 12. Then convert them to Islam. Appoint them to be the leaders of our communities. When that very plan failed, they used one or two people to go and form Ohaneze. I keep saying it all the time. Because I may call a meeting now of a few people together to start something. But you wouldn't know what I have in mind. You wouldn't know who sent me. Some of our people here in the USA, a governor will come and give them some money. Say, call your friends. And they call their friends. And they start one thing or the other. Isn't that correct? Isn't that correct? That was what happened to Ohaneze.
Strategy.
And Ohaneze became a tool at the hands of the Fulani Caliphate with which to destroy our people. Because Nwodo was arguing with me that Ohaneze was formed by a notable Igbo man. And I said, you're talking...
I see a clown of, falsehood.
If they were formed, imagine that somebody with my type of outlook, or should I say the outlook of IPOB, we have to be in charge of Ohaneze. Do you think 3 Igbo local governments will be in Benue State? No. Do you think Ebama will be divided into 3?
No.
Do you think Obi will be outside Igbo land?
No.
There's a place called Ejagam in Cross River State. Are you aware of that? Ejagam.
Which is Ejaga?
Ejagam in Cross River State. Do you know there are Igbo communities in Cross River State?
Yes.
Are you aware?
Yes.
They cut you and put you. When Alamajiri wants to draw the map of the zoo, they put one tiny dot. That's what they're doing in DC. They come to the office of the senator. They show one tiny red dot in a green landmass and say, oh, these people doing all this things. They're only there. They're not even the majority of the people. That is why I say to our people, Inefiki Bibio, Anang, Eket, Oron, the Ijaw people. I'm very glad that we are now beginning to wake up in a part of the world. That if we don't bind together, as the Yorubas have now realized, that they need to work with IPOB in order to stop this influx of Satan. If you don't work with us, all of us together as one family, this great IPOB, we will be overrun by the Fulani Caliphate. The Fulani themselves they have never fought any war before.
Never.
People always fight their wars for them. Are you listening to me?
Yes.
Fulani gets you to do their dirty work for them. Fulani did not defeat the Hausa. Fulani convinced the Hausa to fight themselves.
Yep.
During the war, Fulani convinced T.Y. Danjuma and the Middle Belt to fight Biafrans. The entire infantry corps of the Nigerian army was made up of people from the Middle Belt.
Yes, 75%. 75.
They are in Sokoto, calling the shots, saying, oh, we are one Nigeria, we North. What happened to the North? And I said to the North, if you were together and won, how come you started with only 13 states of Sharia? Why not the rest? Do you people know that the Baggy people, where Babangida or Babangida's mom comes from, they are agitating for their own recognition in the zoo? those that own Abuja. Are you aware of that? They call them Gwari, their name is Gbagi. But because in Hausa language they cannot, because of the syntax, they cannot pronounce Gbagi. That's why they call them Gwari. Yes. They cannot, and now somebody that speaks Hausa cannot pronounce Gbagi. They cannot. Go and try. It's just like asking them to pronounce president. These are historical facts in the zoo. Today they are fighting to be free. And I want to encourage every group in the Middle Belt. I want to encourage everybody, every ethnic group in the zoo to rise up against this impending doom and disaster. Or else we'll all be consumed. And what happened to Hausa people will happen to all of us. By the time you know it is too late.
God forbid.
Do you think the left will help you abroad?
No, of course not.
Do you think they'll help you?
No,
Never.
no.
That is why we need to work very hard to ensure that Biafra is restored in our time.
Yes.
Others may fall apart, but this very IPOB will never ever fall apart. Never ever ever. I have told you this story before, but I will repeat the same story tonight. I will keep saying it until it filters into our skull. Fulani people are migrants. They are not Aborigine. They are not original to Sokoto. Listen very carefully. They are not original to Sokoto. Sokoto is Gobe, not Sokoto. The real name is Gobe, not Sokoto. I repeat. Fulanis, they came. The stupidity of the average Hausa person is the reason why we are in the mess we are in today. Understand this very well. If you understand the mindset and the approach of the Fulani, you'll be able to defeat them. We in IPOB, we know. And that is why we are defeating them. They came into Sokoto with their cattle, as usual. That happened in 1754. In 1754, they came into Gobe, pretending they have come. You know what they started saying? Oh, we have come to fight corruption. From Senegal. All the way from Senegal. The same way today in Abia State they are fighting corruption. And they said to the Hausa people that we actually Muslims before these vandals came. That the version of Islam you're practicing is idolatrous. It's not consistent with the teachings of what we now know today to be the Wahhabi sect. That we need to change them. They employed Othman Danfodio as an ordinary teacher. A teacher to teach the children of the king, who was then in Katsina. Are you following me? Yes. Oh, like those who are opening banks. You came to my house, I cooked for you, I presented it. I called you to come and eat in my house. And you're not telling me that the way I'm shoveling the rice is not good, though. But it's my rice, I cooked it, and I invited you. They told the Hausa people that their kings were corrupt. Can you hear yes, and I was back with me. They said Yowa. You did not ask the person telling you that your kings were corrupt what his motives were. And funny enough, can you turn off your phone? Please turn off your phones if you can and put it on silent or vibrate if you may, please. Please. And in 1804, he managed to convince the Hausa peasants that the thing stopping them is corruption. That they have to fight this war against corruption. And they started war against corruption. The Hausas foolishly fought war against corruption against their own people and overthrew their kings. And the Fulanis replaced them as their emirs. As the Fulanis, listen to this very carefully. Zoo. It has a very funny history. As the Fulanis conquered the Hausa people, the Hausa helped them to conquer the Wagi people. Yes. You know the Hausa people, they have, is it 14 families they have, isn't it? The 7 bastards and the 7 legitimate children. Yeah, thank you very much. And Bokoi and Banza, isn't it? That's Bokoi. They helped them to conquer everybody. Now the Hausas help to conquer the Wagi people, who help to conquer everybody else, the thieves, everybody, all the way to Idoma. That today some Idoma people are Muslims. Are you aware of that? Yeah. They conquered them. One innocuous Fulani plan to conquer the Hausa people ended up at the confluence of River Niger and River Benue in Kogi land. They started moving towards the east. When they got to Medugri, the Sheikh of Borno told them, no, there is Islam here already. Please go back. That was why Borno remained untainted for a very long time. As they conquered the Hausas and the ethnicities of the Middle Belt, they now descended on the Yoruba people. They conquered the Yoruba people. That is why there are Muslims in Yoruba land. Not just all the way to Lagos Island.
80% of Muslims are Yoruba.
They came to Biafra land. As you know, they would. They came to Biafra. What happened to them?
I think 1677.
They died.
Yeah, Sisefla
killed all of them.
1677.
Yes. Ordinary Sisefly. For those who don't believe in God in heaven,
1677.
Because there was need for God in heaven to preserve his children.
Always.
And they died on the plains of Benue.
97% of them died.
And they were very, very upset about it.
97%.
And Uthman Danfodio swore that they would dip the Quran in the Atlantic. And the only person that they felt could do that in modern times was Muhammadu Buhari. Yes, that's their mission. To bring Islam into our land, to conquer us as a people. Because illiterates, uneducatable, impossible to educate, no matter how much you educate them. Alomajiri will be Alomajiri.
Yes, forever. Another 4.5 billion years. That's what they are. They are called.
I will keep asking the same questions that I ask all the time. Can you show me one Fulani poet?
Never. Never.
They contribute nothing.
Can you show me one Fulani scientist? Do we have any Fulani scientists? How come they cannot do anything right? I have never met a Fulani doctor before. Have you met one before, Uche? Huh? Nebet Hano. No. I will ask again. Where have you met a Fulani doctor? I didn't say Hausa doctor. Have you met them before? Have you seen them before? How come they cannot be a doctor? They are not pharmacists. But they are good enough to be the president of a country. And you expect to be developed. Is that possible?
No, it's not.
Sometimes I ask myself, what type of planet are people living on? People who are blessed, people who are industrious, people who are hardworking. They are not qualified to be president. It is those who cannot be president. Do you see how people reason in the zoo? People who are nomadic are now qualified to hold the highest office in the land. Those who are educated are in America, doing irrelevant jobs in America. And you're telling me that all is well in Nigeria. You're telling me that to be a proud Nigerian. Who is a proud Nigerian here? Who is a proud Nigerian here?
Nobody.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here, because we are not proud of this.
I want people to understand something. Very, very important, please. It is your responsibility. Biafra is yours. You must own it. If you're not aware of what is happening back home, I please urge you to acquaint yourselves with the atrocities going on back home. If you don't know already, you ought to know by now that our land is under occupation. You cannot come out as a free being to express or to exercise whatever right they claim they have given to you via their sham constitution. That is why Biafra is going to come. And that is why nobody can ever stop it from coming. Therefore, as we are gathered here today, I must make it very, very clear that Biafra belongs to each and every one of us.
Yes.
IPOB is our own thing. It belongs to everybody. It belongs to everybody. And try to always resist the temptation, because the devil will come. I assure you. Try always to resist the temptation of the devil speaking through you, of always finding fault and not being able to do things the right way. IPOB is a family under one command structure. Only one, not two, not three, not four. Once you're under oath, you have sworn to abide by the structures of IPOB, not your own. I am fond of when people come to see me privately, we discuss one or two things that, we have in mind or what we are doing. And I've noticed that each time I do that, some people go out and try to implement that very thing that I've said we ought to do. And that is a very serious disease. We are not in any competition with anybody. All we want is Biafra. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Had Owazulike behaved himself, they have done it for IPOB. I have said it many times. Had they been consistent, truthful and transparent, they have been done it for IPOB. I don't want our people to think that somehow we are in some sort of a race between each other. Our race is against Fulani, not Hausa. I keep saying Hausa Fulani sometimes. If we tell you what we have in mind to do, unless there is an order to go and implement that very thing, you are not allowed, you are not at liberty to implement it. I said, whatever thing you can do to ensure that Biafra is restored. It doesn't mean you should take an idea that belongs to DOS, you were privy to, and try to implement it yourself. When your mom says to you after school, oh, go into the kitchen, there's a pot of soup there, take some and eat. She's not asking you to go and empty all the meat and the fish inside the soup. You're supposed to have common sense. Is that correct or not?
Truth.
We have a problem, which may be we are going to have a day of prayer and fasting. Every evil spirit to leave us alone. I'm telling you the truth. Because our enemies always come together to fight us. We must always band together to repel them.
Yes. Forever.
Unless you're asked to do something, don't do it. Go and get people, preach this very gospel to those around you. Go to your workplace, contact your senators and your House of Reps members. Take this very word of Biafra to them. The materials you will send to them, we will circulate to you. That's what we want you to do. Not to go and start opening a bank. That's not what I asked you to do. Because if you try that, the name of Biafra has now entered their records. When we now come up with our plan for the bank that the corporate bank wanted to float, it's very, very difficult for us to carry that through. We wanted to float a corporate bank, not banking for everybody, for a reason. Why you need such a bank? We lost the war because we couldn't get weapons in. Are you aware of that? Yes. That was why we lost the war. Yes. Our fathers were playing about with sticks, pretending it's a gun. They go into battlefield with nothing. It's only those they can kill on the enemy side. They take their guns, isn't it? Yes. Do you think Fulani can defeat us in a war? No. Huh? Even if we are blindfolded. How your guys provide help, provide for them. Because I live there as a bonity. Open and show of discipline, just to show you don't stand. If we take that mentality, we will lose. That's why you took money from your father's money, go and buy weapons. Some people ate them. I'm thinking it through or not. That's the same thing here. When given a responsibility, when we say to hold it, do the best you can. I ask you to get something. A lady went to Red Cross in London in 1960 to go with money to live for starving, dying. She was arrested by the British. And the Red Cross account frozen. The reason why we need a bank was to make sure every line to be open. Can pay for equipments and the total. We didn't open it so you can have visa card. But now, also the bank and video coming on and bank. And you so ill and stupidity. Things so secretive now they know. Now they know. Because they labeled us a terrorist group. We need source of funding that they not question. And you are in my Facebook. Media are there busy laughing and tying and liking the argument. My parents will never come again. They will never come home again, I assure you. Because men have died in this very effort.
Yes.
Yes. So far now.
As we speak.
Obere was fighting for you and he was beheaded in Ebonyi. I'm sure you saw his body. Fighting to save you so you can have land to go back to. Idiots are in America opening a bank as if they are foolish. That is why an organization as big as the World Igbo Congress could not make any iota of difference in our lives. As big as they are. With WIC here, why would Nnamdi come from the UK to come here to lobby your lawmakers? Why should I? You are the ones to do it and tell me what is happening here. Bank. What we ask you to do, you will not do. Ordinary $1. Do you know how much it costs to engage a lobby? Firm in Washington, D.C. I ask all of you, go and try and recruit one tomorrow. Can you quote? Ordinary $1 was a problem. $1 became a problem. Can't you afford $1? How can you cannot you never in a month? You can't afford $1? Because Fulani people are laughing at us, they are counting on that thing you have inside you, that destructive demonic spirit to question and to argue everything. That's what they are counting on, to colonize and enslave us. When they speak, they say, we know you can never be united. We know. Only $1 only. Is it going to kill you? No $1. You're not an IPOB. You don't contribute. Later you ask us, when is this Biafra coming, self?
Yeah. That's how they always.
Others came here and they got something, including very recently Ambazonia. Why should our own be any different? Because some of these they're the ones that will drive us away. They will say, God brought you to bring Biafra. Biafra has now come, so you can go home and stay. Let technocrats in America come and run it. After all, I'm a manager with IBM or Google. That's what you will say to us. And mark it down. This thing is going to happen. You will come from America to tell us that you are coming from the most advanced country in the world. You know how to do it. That we that suffered and died should get away so you can come and do it. Are you doubting me?
Oh, yeah, that's what they're waiting. We have the awareness.
Come and join us to make Biafra a possibility before it becomes the reality of our time. Because your participation is very, very key. Learn something from America. Everybody supported Washington, didn't they? Did they not support Washington? Learn something. Learn something. The thing about us is that because we are very, the whole world is listening. People say don't wash your dirty linen in the public, but I wash my own in the motor park, roundabout. You name ever go to the again. You need to understand something. We are very competitive by nature. Isn't it? We love to compete. This person has built one-story building, I want to build two. It's a very good thing. It's a very good thing. But that also predisposes us to destructive envy. Very destructive. We are not in IPOB, in this Biafra restoration project, we're not in a competition. But if you have a superior idea, you can bring it up. It's my job to listen to advice. I may not take your advice today, but I may see something tomorrow and decide to implement it. The fact that I'm not using your advice now doesn't mean I hate you or don't regard you or don't know what I'm doing. When we were advising the zoo, preaching to them, did they believe us? No. But Yoruba is coward, not me. I didn't say anything. We need to understand this. That in Kiruka, what is ahead is bigger than what we are saying now. That Biafra belongs to you. It is your own. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to DS. It doesn't belong to IPOB. I know in a wider context, everybody is IPOB. Insofar as this movement is concerned all over the world, pushing and moving ahead, it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to every single soul. And by the time we have run this race, only those who are worthy, it doesn't have to be us, will be eligible to serve Biafra.
Yes, of course.
And we don't know who those people are going to be. You, the people, will decide. That is why I urge you this very evening from here and nighttime in Biafra land to do all you can to support our effort. A lot of things I cannot say on air will be coming your way. But when Al-Majri comes to your village to kill people, you start calling IPOB. And the reason why we are asking you to contribute $1 every month is how it is done in the olden days. That is the only census we can have. That is how we know how many people who are with us. Do you understand me? Yeah. So the same way that we go to your Congress and they ask us how many Biafrans are living in the Maryland state, I can't tell them unless I call the coordinator and they tell me so XYZ amount of people paid their $1. That's how you identify and you say you're very serious. That is why in our land we don't point at people. Are you aware of that? Do you know why we don't point at people? Yeah. We don't count 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't do that. You say you don't know the reason why?
No, tell us.
We pay $1 first. When a woman gives birth, back home, you never ask a woman how many children have you got. Are you aware of that? It's a recent thing. Oh, how many kids do you have? We don't do it where we come from. You don't count them. I refer you to the book of Numbers. When you go and read it, you'll be able to understand. The fact is that you identify yourself or you are counted based on what you can do. I've told this joke before. It's from M.N.K.M.U.B.B. It's an M.N.K.M.U.B.B. joke. And it ties into this $1 thing. I've run out of time.
I want to announce something. All those people that park at the other side, please, the owners we have to park across.
Okay. Please park across the road. Please. If you're parked at the back there, please move across the road and park over there, please.
That's a back.
No, this side is okay. This side is ours. The other unit.
Okay.
If you park here, you're okay, but those that park
Parked at the back over there. There, please move your vehicle. Thank you very much.
this one, those that park along the road here, you're okay. If you park behind this, you're okay. But if you park in the other building,
Are we good to go? Or do you want me to stop? Huh? The reason why
Yeah. Yeah, if your car is in that building here, so it's moving.
Okay.
But if you park along the road here, you're okay.
If you park on this side, just move across the street. But if you park on this side, you're okay.
Yeah.
If you park on this side, you're okay. But if you park on that side, across the street from the
Please let me know when we are good to go, so I can continue. Are we okay now?
Yes, sir.
Are we okay now?
Yes, sir.
IPOB. I'm going to call Nnamdi. My younger brother was born there. That's where my cousins come from.
Okay.
We were also there during the war.
Okay, awesome.
Yes. The reason why you need to pay $1 is this. There was a very rich man that came back to the village during Christmas like this. And the man brought bags of rice and tomatoes and asked all the widows in the village to come so he can give them some rice and tomatoes. So one man observed the wife getting ready to attend this rice sharing event. The man said to the wife, but they only called widows. The woman said to the husband, "Kill your wound." So if you're coming to count your typical census, you count the man as a man. But to the wife, the man is no longer a man. Doesn't exist anymore. That is why you need to make contribution for us to know that you're there and part of us. So when we are speaking, we speak with authority. And if you say that somehow we'll become very, we'll be, flush with money and that is not a good thing. Let me ask you this. Do you know how much it's costing us in Ebonyi to keep the Fulanis at bay in Ebonyi? Do you know how much it's costing us? When any of our men falls on the battlefield, do you think we abandon their families? Do you think we abandon them? Those are some of the things that we are doing that you don't know about. We fought them in Anambra and we drove them away from there. We did. In Imo, the same. In Abia, the same. They wanted to use the cover of the barracks in Ohafia to come in. We said no. We drove them away. We are fighting every blessed day. And we need your support to sustain it. We didn't have this number of people in the diaspora between 67 and 70. If we did, we would have won the war. That I know for sure. Let us complete the job that our father started. Let us complete this very work that heaven wants us to complete. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you have any questions, you're free to ask. I believe I'm in order. Is that correct? If you have questions, you ask. Yes. Go ahead.
You have to do one at a time, please.
Yeah,
What is your name? Please introduce yourself first.
Yes. Yes.
I've been here for 1 or 2 years.
Can't hear you.
I've been here for 1 or 2 years. We have a lobbying. Lobbying is the way.
Speak English, man.
Lobbying
Why?
English is important because Biafra is English, please.
lobbying actually is the quickest way to get something here. Because the people who are lobbying on your behalf know the system. They know where the guns are buried. So it's usually the quickest way. So what my question is, which I will also commit myself to doing, is what's the best way to raise the funds for the lobby? That is my question. It's been burning in my heart for a long time.
Thank you very much. Our brother is asking what is the best way to raise the money. If you have been paying this $1 a month, there will be no need to ask you to do anything else, isn't it? Oh, no, like $1. What I mean? Come on. Then from there we pay them. But what you do concede to is that lobbying is a very, very expensive business.
Are you an IPOB member?
Go ahead. Are you one of us?
Right now, not officially.
Okay.
That's why
Now we'll go.
Okay. Now, there are those that may not wish to participate in the open, but provide help and assistance via the back door. Yes. They are also welcome to do so. So not everybody will be out there at the front doing something. Some will also want to support through the back door, and we must accommodate them. Very, very important. That was why I said that Onyema is the last person who would help. You are all aware that every group in the north, including the Alamajiri kids, they are all sponsored by their people, isn't it? If we can achieve what we have achieved, given our limited resources, imagine what we can do with so much more. Imagine what we can do. Lobbying is the zoo. Who is the thing is Bernard that is representing the zoo here. The zoo's firm is called Bernard. They are the ones representing him at DC. Anywhere we go to, they go the next day. Trying to rubbish us, telling the whole world we are terrorists, telling them that we started the war and all the rest of it. All the junk that the zoo can dredge up, they give to them, they submit to their people. So it's a very serious business, lobbying, and it costs a lot of money. But my happiness, how did you even manage to afford to be paying them? I don't know. But we are doing the best we can. That is why every contribution you make never goes to waste. None goes to waste. I don't have a car. Understand this. I don't have a car. I don't have a business. I have no landed property. I have nothing. I have no savings. My savings is the coming of Biafra. When Biafra comes, if you want me to starve to death, then I will starve to death if you want. Because I need to keep my hands clean to be able to go very far, because I understand Biafra more than most of you. Any day you become tempted, you start putting your mind on earthly things, cars, buildings, hotels, investment, you're finished. And we can't afford to do that. Everything I want, you are going to give me inside Biafra, not outside it. Olilanya munine in this life is inside Biafra, not outside. You can't have a mountain and then you're resting, then the mountain is in front. Does that make any sense to anybody? Elohim has taken everything from me, my mother and my father. There is no other. I say to Chukwu Kikabiam when I pray, there is nothing else you will take from me. You've taken everything. Now all I'm asking for is for Biafra to come. Because every sacrifice has been made. What else is holding? And he said I should come and speak to you. That you people are very stubborn. Very difficult. And he said I should preach Exodus to you, which I will not preach today, about your stubbornness and the way you tempt him and the way your behavior is what led to people who are beneath you to be ruling over you. If you don't see that as punishment from God, that means spiritually you're blind, you cannot see. People you're better than, people that move cattle from place to place, are the ones ruling you. That means that God in heaven is upset with you. You must have done something wrong, and those mistakes is what we're seeking now to correct. To put ourselves on the path of the straight and the narrow, that we may be worthy to be called the children of Elohim. Thank you. Next person, please.
IPOB. Family. Onye ndu anyị. Asị nnọọ. Aha m wụ Jochie Dozie Onyekwere from Ezinite Mbise. Asị ka nkene gị because for over 4,000 years, outside Moses, Joshua, and David, this is the first time you have waken us up. Here, Benjamin Netanyahu 3 months ago, this size of Bible Koji in a conference, he was telling a lecture that Israel has no constitution. He brought this Bible and hold it. This is our constitution. And it started in 1948. We are very happy, IPOB family, here in Maryland and all over the world, that you are using the same foundation Israel used through David, Ben-Gurion, and Moshe Dayan, and Golda Meir, who was a student of Arizona University in 1943. And you are making our foundation to be like Israel. And you said it in your first broadcast that you will replicate IDF. And that is only hope we will have. And I've been watching all your broadcasts and all other broadcasts. You keep on saying the same consistency. And this is this is the first time a black leader is using that, and that will make Biafra to have integrity. And the foundation you laid.
Ask your question, sir.
I don't have question. All I have is the praise and the foundation consolidation. And this is the only hope we will have. The only question is not a question I would like us to have is in our flag. When we are going to hoist our flag in our freedom and independence, I would like us to include 7 stars, Babando stars, which means the 7 ethnic group of Biafra, with Ofonogu in the middle. Ofonogu, which is command and the status of God. Yes. So that Ogabu Ifonobuna Ebobunino, all the same in Israel. We must always area. We are not going to advance. That is my contribution, and I want you to remember this.
I will.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Isn't one year on your number?
I'm on Nenugu.
Oh no.
I'm on Nenugu.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm on Nenugu.
I like it. I like it very much. I like it, and your advice is taken on board, and we'll do something about it. I said something to people when I went to Jerusalem to go and pray. You know, when the white man came, the British came, they said we have no history. Are you aware of that?
Yeah.
Huh? Yes. They said you have no history. I don't know, they were hiding this from us. Who is Maro Chuku here? Aro Chuku. Can anybody tell me the transliteral meaning of Yeshua in Igbo language? What's the meaning of Yeshua? Yeshua, which is Joshua anyway. You see, this is the problem that we have. No, they don't know it. Yeshua, which the Europeans called Jesus Christ, the name given to him by his father and his mother is Yeshua, Chizoba. Only the Israelites in Israel and us praise God with the name we give to our children. No other race does it. And Chukwu Kikabiama said to me that those that fought before fought under a different banner. That we should go to battle with his name, Chukwu Kikabiama, and see if we will not be victorious. That's why I'm very certain that Biafra will come. There are some who don't understand what we are doing. They say they are Omenala and Ordinala, who don't understand the spiritual dimension of this. Our land is holy, no doubt about that.
Yes.
I'm not saying it's not. So is also the land of Israel. That is why men go mad trying to conquer that very small place.
Yes, always.
But there is one original religion. Only one. From which the other ones became branches. Is that correct?
Yes, that's true.
That original religion is the knowledge of one supreme creator and owner of the universe. One. That our ancestors worshipped. Our ancestors worshipped directly.
Yes.
But because Elohim is very fierce, they try to go through others to go and plead. When they commit crime, our ancestors, they can no longer go and pray direct. They start looking for one Amadi or Arosi to go and beg him. Do you know that's why you have Arosi in our place?
Yeah. The small angels.
Do you know that they are small angels? Are you aware of that? Are you sure they know this?
The small angels, yeah.
People have lesser gods, small ones, because the big one, when he gets upset, he kills everything inside.
Yes.
Chinkuku, that big one, when he's upset, he kills everything. So when they commit their crime, they do in those olden days. The world is listening. They hide behind the lesser god and ask the lesser god to please beg the big one. Do you now understand? Not that you worship those small deities, no. They are messengers. We ask them to go and please go and beg for us. Because when Elohim is upset, you know what happens? Many die in the process. That's what happened. I don't want us to misunderstand it, because some people think they confuse Ordinala with Omenala and what we are doing. No. The worship of Elohim is not a religion that you can call a particular name, because that is the original, the number one. I've said this many times on Radio Biafra. In the olden days, before you become an Nze, not this one, according to this America say. Na America one of this kind of taboga come.
French fry.
Let me tell you why. What used to happen before you become a titled man in the olden days. Nze Ozo. You bring out your tongue and they will make 7 incisions on your tongue. They make 7 marks on your tongue and it will bleed. Yes. And from that day, any day you lie, you will die. Yes, that is why Ezioku Bondo. That is why you have to speak the truth to remain alive. If you lie, you will die. And that's why they start hiding under Amadioha. Okay, all that rubbish. Because you know if you lie, you die. And also go and check in our land. You know the boundary, we call it okay. In our land.
Yeah. You move it.
If you move it from where it is, it will never be well with you and your family. Go and check. All these things that people tend to confuse, they don't understand. They don't understand what is behind what we are doing. It's a mystery to most people. They thought we woke up one day and started to do, Biafra this. No. We understand the sacredness of our land and what Chukwukika Biama said. Our clock started ticking from the year 2012, 75 years from then. If we don't achieve Biafra, I don't know how many years, I don't know within how many years, but if you don't achieve Biafra as soon as possible, our race will be destroyed. And it was then that the BBC issued, no, it was actually United Nations that issued a very grim report that the Igbo language will cease to exist within 75 years. These are some of the things that you don't know. So we are running a race against the clock to restore the kingdom of God upon the face of this very earth, which Biafra is. Which Biafra is. Some don't know this, but we do. So it's not just about freedom fighting for the sake of it. We are trying to do the will of God. Yes. People who don't understand won't understand. And I don't apologize for it. Thank you very much. Yes,
my name is Dr. Felix Sonis. I'm a Biafran veteran, 10-year-old, trained by Major Amajo at Olokuma. I'm also from Mazi. My number is BA30846. I'm holding a lead in the lake. As I'm talking, I see faces of people who died. 9 years, 10 years. I'm a recent IPOB member.
Louder, please.
I'm a recent IPOB member. I ate in the same table with Uju. I come from my problem is America. Their leadership in America. America is the leader of the world. I'm here 44 years old. And the people we have put or allowed in the leadership are the people holding us from getting Biafra. You have said it here. And I'm here to look at their faces. Some of them have spoken to me. As I was before I became. Their leadership is why we don't have Biafra today. Don't answer me here. We were here in New Carrollton.
Yes.
I have a house not too far from. I called my junior brother when I had it. I just drove from Philadelphia. I've been gone for 4 months. People been looking for me. I can't say where I went. I just came back. Immediately I closed my office. I called my younger brother. I said, go there. I see you. He saw you. When you went to Chicago, another one saw you. It's on the video. Not here, please. Gather your coordinators in U.S., your leadership. They are our problem here in U.S. Because you said here, excuse me, because if you're afraid, the fear fears the fearless. I'm a reverend, a chief. There's no title they haven't given me. I'm in Nigeria 4 months, 3 to 4 months every year. Umahia. I am the pioneer of medical mission. I'm the pioneer of telemedicine. Now, it's God. This, I don't call this Bible.
It's not a Bible.
Basic instruction before you leave on earth. I call them the manual of life.
Yes.
If you have TV, you have your iPhone, and you buy it from Best Buy, they give you a manual. It tells you the parts in it. It tells you how to work it. If you can't work it right, you can't get the best. The same with the TV. That's the problem you all have. I read this at the age of 10. I read the whole thing. I read it every single year. This is how I concluded it. I read the whole Quran, the Gita of the Buddha. I studied religion, and what you're saying is true. I've been listening to you for years. I'm a before I'm out from here. Now, go and talk to them. They are a problem. The vision I have for Biafra is not really democracy. The only democracy there is come and vote, determine who leads you. But we need a meritocracy. Meritocracy. That's what China does. I've been to China many times. Their coordinators need to read. REA, the readers are leaders. I do leadership training. I'll give you my private number 24/7. I've been an advisor to African presidents. I won't mention them. They don't read. We don't read. Africans. After certificate, after school, that's it. Even here. Anybody have read the 3 novels this year? Please raise your hand. I've read 40 to 50 books every year. I've read 41 this year. I just ordered 11 books. You can't run this world with common sense. All these things you're talking about here, I know. They know this stuff. Because you read. That's why you can lead. That's the problem with Fulani. You're right. How can somebody who didn't go to school run? I have an office in Abu. Up across Nigeria. That's my number one. Then this is another important one that will get us to one of the things we need. Who knows about Bruce Merrock here? Bruce Merrock. Raise your hand. Bruce Merrock. Anybody know about Bruce Merrock? You know about him? Bruce Merrock died what? May 30th, 1969. At the age of 20, 1949 to 1969. This is the young man that sat in the corner in front of United Nations and set himself on fire because of Biafra. He did something only Jesus did. And none of you know about him. I have it. Go to obituary.com. You will see his grave there. I put this. You can go there and put a flower and memorize it. You don't know. We need education. Your coordinators are doing it.
He's a Jewish too.
This man here has been with me to fish out our younger children born here, to educate them about Africa. We do that. That's what we need. Our leaders in America is a problem. They are holding Biafra. They are looking at me. If they doubt me, they come to me. I can come and say it loud and clear.
That's true. Yes.
That's why we say that if they don't move, we are going to find another direction to work with you and get what we want. It's an emergency. We have an emergency. We have an emergency. They are the problem. Now, Onyendu, with your permission, I want to propose that May 30th next year, we are going to Rosemary Rock grave. Light. I'm looking for the family. I've seen one lady here was responding, but not two of them. We're going with the candle light that day. If we go there with the candle, all this major media will come out. The whole children will come out. That's how we can announce to the world that we are serious. Everybody come out after the marching on June 20th. I mean, before that, we take candlelight, Biafran light, stand there for so long, the media will come.
It's a good idea.
There. Go to obituary.com, go there, all of you now, and put there, you see my own there, with the flower. You do it, obituary.com. Thank you. Those two things are what I want. Our leaders here need to set up. If they don't sit up, change them. Because before President Clinton left to Nigeria, what did he say? He said, when you, what? It was Albert Einstein that said it first. When you see, insanity is when you continue to do the same thing again and again, and you're getting the same result. That's how he defined insanity. And that's what we're doing. You are asking us, have we gone to our congressmen and senators? Who is supposed to lead that and do it? Our coordinators. Have they done it? No. No. Are they encouraging people to do it? No. So that's our start. From today, the dynamics must change. Thank you, God.
Thank you very much.
Ladies. I'm going to be very brief.
Onyeisi ndewo. Asị m ka m remind yara anyị. But I'm not saying more grease to the elbow. It takes one man to birth a nation, but it takes a multitude to build a nation. And I strongly believe that every true Igbo man believes that you are God sent. As everybody's here. And I know what it would take for you to come to America 1 or 2 times in a year and go to other nations. My first question is this. Is the $1 enough? Or is that the minimum? Can someone put more than $1?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Why am I saying this? It will not take only hundreds of millions. Think of lives that will be saved if Biafra were to come tomorrow. Those lives are worth more than, each of them is worth more than $10 million.
Priceless.
As hardworking as you are. One other thing I want to stress is that the state, American State Department, they are going around, and once they know you are a Biafran, they teach you with certain questions. Where do you come from? They start the discussion. What they want to hear, I believe, that you are a Biafran and not a Nigerian. Because you tell them you're in Nigeria and they believe you're still not sure of what you want.
Absolutely. It's true, they're going around.
You can say, I'm a Biafran, but in Nigeria, I assume the person pretends not to understand the location of Biafra. You let them know.
Yes. Awesome.
I've encountered so many of them.
They're going around.
My name, Joseph Mwavoise Chimaroke. M.N.K.M.U.B.B. Was born in Aba and raised in Aba. If you knew there was Boys Company in 1967, I started it by the grace of God. The Boys Company that later became the civil defense of Aba. I was born and bred there. It was in 1967. I was supposed to go to high school. For the war, because they were bombing schools. Later, by the age of 14, I was a trained commando at Madonna 3, BA 287031. So, what am I saying? I am in America by the unction of God. I never desired to come. I read in Europe, went home an architect 6 years after. In Nigerian politics, God said, come here to preach the gospel. I am a pastor. Praise the Lord. And the issue of Biafra has been a burden in my heart. And of course, God has been giving some revelations. The last was that we got Biafra, but they killed a lot of our people. And I was one of those who were going around checking the dead bodies. Some of them were in the gutter. But there was a certain level of joy in us as we are looking at this thing. So it means that we got Biafra. That was the third time I'm having such a revelation from God. So I want to say also to you, more grace to your elbow. Don't relent. It will cost us an arm and a leg. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Praise God. So $1 is nothing to you. I'm sure if we decide that we can make it $100, we can do that. May God bless you.
Thank you very much.
Right here.
Oh man, we need to have
Go ahead.
But let me speak in English. And I want to be very brief because I know there are so many people that would have been in much more better position to ask questions. And just like my brother said, it's a minister. God bless you in December here. There's something that brought me here this evening. I had several commitments here in Baltimore. But when I have it, less than 24 hours, I will be here. is that my wife went to U.S. fingerprint place. And based on the revelation that the Lord gave to me, I told them when you go there, fill that application as a Biafran. I will tell you. She went there and filled in the column where it said nationality. It says something like they say Biafra. Then they asked her a question. The lady came back, bring back the paper. I don't know the kind of paper she filled. And asked her, is it a new nation where you say Google it? That's what she told the lady. And she Googled it right there before her. I said, you okay? She ticked it as a Biafra. And my wife got her fingerprint document sent back to her as a Biafra. So that's inspired me a lot because, like, to cut it so short, that's why I'm going to cut it short because preachers talk too much. But it's not bad. But this thing I was telling you people, revelation about Biafra restoration was given to me in 1998. That was when Nigeria divided. So we're here to fill a mission. My question is this concerning this donation contribution. One thing, what brought me here is that I want to know who is the coordinator here, because I don't believe there are so many chatter in the media, in the social media. There's this one, is that one. That's why I said I'm going to come personally, see who is the coordinator here, face to face, airport to airport. Because so that's it. And secondly, is this the issue about Congress? Talking to our Congress people before I even come here today. I have been talking to our Congress people. I personally wrote them letters of over 300 words. So there's something you mentioned. They say you will send us something that will show to them as proofs. So I was trying to know how those things are going to be sent, because not only that, by the virtue of God's grace, I don't know how I got attached to President Donald Trump campaign team here in Boston. Then I sent the message directly to the president through one of the aides, and I got a reply. So I want to know. Let me just conclude. I hope you understood what I'm saying.
No.
Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Can I say something 1 minute? A woman is here first. IPOB.
One family.
I thank everybody here. My name is Nnamdi. I'm an engineer, civil engineer, back in Biafra land for coming here.
An engineer?
Yes, civil.
Civil engineer?
Yes.
That's very good.
But I'm not practicing in America, unfortunately. I listened to what our leader said. I'm gonna be brief. It doesn't make sense. Every one of us here knows how hardworking he is, and we contributing $1 is like a slap on the face. We know how much expenses are both here in America and in Nigeria. He's taking out his time to travel to all parts of the world, and bringing out just $1 is just like we are not serious in what we are doing. If we can raise this to like $5, I don't think it's gonna be too much for any one of us. When you go to McDonald's, I don't think they sell anything $1 there. you have to understand that the economic situation in Nigeria is more than what we are seeing here. And my second opinion again is he has told us that he has no income, he has no bank account. We have to make provision to at least, even if we contribute money, let us set something aside that this is what we'll use in supporting his mission. You know, he cannot steal. He cannot be bribed. So it is all of us here and maybe in other countries. If I can get out to other people, let us have a certain pause where we say this is for the support of his mission, both his transport, hotel accommodation, feeding, you know. That might be another idea that I'm just trying to put up. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
IPOB,
One family.
Afambo Isaac, if I can do one, I'm more on it. The leadership of IPOB, I have said that this is not first time I've ever meeting our leader, and I said to him, I said to myself that I will let him know that he represents the very pure and truth essence of an Igbo man, upright, unshakable. I said that. A man that represents our truth, a custodian of our truth.
Our truth.
It's not by coincidence that you are here. If our Chukwu appointed for this, and when they came to storm your house, I was just so despondent. Oh, Jesus. And then I saw you in Israel. I said, man, because he survived that, Biafra is here.
Yes. Yes.
Because he did, Biafra is here. My question is this. How when this third class politician, M.N.K.M.U.B.B, they call him also, that is going around trying to make his people not be part of IPOB. You know, he's just going around doing that. I think he's a vice Senate President. Exactly. And he's been doing that. Ask Kamalo your feeling about this.
If I will answer, and thank you to all of you, including those that spoke, and our dear sister. Thank you very much. I think I can use this. Thank you. If Omagege is Isoko or Ishekiri?
Ishekiri, I think it's
Is it Ishekiri? Yes. If our own Efulefus couldn't stop us, I also believe that he will not be able to make any difference. Yes. Because Ishekiri is Biafra.
Yes.
They are also blessed with common sense and ability to reason.
Yes.
The same way you're gathered here today is how Ishekiris all over the world are gathering and making sure that Biafra becomes a reality.
Amen.
Yes.
Anything Omagege is doing, he is bound to fail.
Yes.
And what happened to the others will happen to him. He will serve the zoo. He will come back in shame.
Yes.
Thank you.
Amen. Okay. Amen.
My name is Agora Musu from Nga in Anambra State. Nobody will tell me about the history of Biafra. If you know what Oga stands for, you should know better.
Airport, yeah. Our airport.
So we have the history about Biafra, and we suffered for it. But my question is this. What is the best strategy to market Biafra movement within America? And I Why I ask this question is this. Our people are afraid. In fact, it looks like they are ashamed of discussing the topic Biafra. Even in different organizations, town union organizations, and committee of friends, if you mention anything about Biafra, nobody want to listen to you. Why are we ashamed to discuss this? I'll give you one example. I belong to Anambra Association. When there was a massacre in Ozobo, this recent massacre, I was so devastated. I mentioned that topic to the organization, asking them, what are we going to do to help these people the government is destroying their lives? Do you know what somebody told me? This is the wrong place to discuss this topic.
How old is the person?
They know themselves. Some of them they say they are old enough. They are veterans, Biafran veterans.
Not Biafran veteran. No Biafran veteran will ever say that. Never.
Honestly,
fake veterans they are.
My director, I'm so extremely disappointed. I told them. As a matter of fact, you know what they said? They said that we should discuss the topic whenever we have a meeting. And the meeting is likely to be next year. And because there is end of the year party which they have to do, I said, look, life is more important to me than enjoyment.
Always.
How can I be enjoying and then people are suffering? I said, it makes no sense. Yes. America stands for charity and a humanitarian work. So what are we doing? That's the question I asked them. And the next thing they threatened, they're going to get me out of the meeting. And you know what? Before they get me out of the meeting, I got out of the meeting myself.
Immediately.
Because I am extremely passionate about this topic. So I'm suggesting that we should do thorough marketing of this brand. If everybody is ashamed of being a Biafra, I'm not ashamed. And again, most of the people who are looking up to, you know what they're doing, my director? These people are busy conducting traditional marriages in America, chieftaincy, permission of the culture. They don't want to do something that we encourage we youth to come out and see what we can do for our future. Honestly, I'm not happy staying in America here. Because I know the best vacation I can have is back home.
Always. Always.
What we're doing here is not even the best. My director, I have to commend you for your ability to be here. First of all, I told my friends that you changed my life. I follow you every time, every minute. I listen to Radio Biafra every time. My friends, when you went to Japan, I was talking with my friends in Japan. They were giving me feedback of what is going on. I watch you and I follow you every time. So keep it up. Keep the movement up. Without you, there will be no us here.
Exactly. It's true.
You raise our consciousness.
Yes. Keep time.
And I will
Forever.
And I will conclude by saying this, and I quote, Frank Fanon said, every onlooker is either a coward or a traitor. Thank you.
Of course. We are recording. We are recording.
Anambra Union in America will not support Biafra agitation because they take money from Obiano.
It's true.
And I say this with every authority.
Yes.
That Biafra will be restored. And all those people who know him when I came here, they will not enter Biafra.
Yes.
I tell them this, to do everything they can in America in conjunction with the zoo to stop IPOB and to stop Biafra from coming. Because they will fail.
Yes.
Biafra will come, yes, and they will not enter Biafra land.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Forever.
Chineke kpọkwa ha ọkụ. Dara.
Bọọlụ ahụ ọkụ.
Because I know most of the time. My name is M.N.K.M.U.B.B. So my question for today is, I always mostly talk about how we engage the youth in Biafra. And most of the time when we come together, the people we see around us are the elderly ones, the seniors, the veterans. And I ask this question, where are your children? Not because I know you don't want to bring them here. And the other thing is that all this Igbo group or other groups that come together, a lot of the time their children are not even there. I talk to students, I'm a student, and most of the time when I talk to students around me, they don't even know anything about Biafra. Why? Because their father, their mother didn't tell them anything about it. And when I remember speaking with one and he said, oh, the war. That was the only thing he remembered about Biafra. And now that we are fighting for the freedom of Biafra, none of them even recognize or even have idea of what is going on. So how do we, just as my brother said, how do we market Biafra out there? Because we need to go beyond this us and get into the life of the youth, the teenagers, and preach this gospel of Biafra, because we are not enough for the elders to say this to the youth. So how can we get out there to capture them young in order for us to really get our message out there? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Nnamdi, 1 second. As in Ahioman Erongwe, is that correct?
Yes.
It is not how many that actually come on this very journey. It's actually how dedicated the few that identify themselves are able to pursue this very project to its logical conclusion. When we started IPOB, we went like this, I'm sure. The people you are seeing here today only came because they were able to receive the information. Less than 12 hours, is that correct?
Yes. That's true.
And on social media. These are those who are active on social media, I believe.
Yes.
Or that stumbled upon the fly on social media. Anybody that claims they don't know about Biafra, you are deceiving yourself and you're lying to yourself.
Always.
What we are going to do, our brother Ndu Kotugu Alala herself. Halago. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Monday and Anna tight. Okay, I say it. They said here about the leadership in America. I used to watch Bugs Life. I watched it within America. I'm not watching within M.N.K.M.U.B.B as well. You know the movie Bugs Life? Have you seen Bugs Life? Una cartoon. Go and watch Bugs Life. Watch it. I remember Hopper, who was the principal grasshopper leading the troops against the ants, saying to the newly appointed queen that the first rule of leadership, everything is your fault. If we are not doing that well, I will blame the leadership in America. Huh? And you as a student, the best way to get something done is when you do it yourself. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you will also have the responsibility of making sure that our students actually come out to be part of this. And that's our brothers are there as well. Unyoga, please stand.
That's the doctor.
A doctor. On his own way, as okay. As long the doctors and the nurses now, but in America, so he's a medical doctor, I presume. Is that correct? I have never seen, if in the understanding of the zoo, a medical doctor can be a miscreant. I don't know what an alamajiri cattle will be then. Here is a medical doctor who is a miscreant in America. Unbelievable. You will join us and profess solutions because I don't know everything. I can't pretend I know everything. There are some ideas and suggestions you bring that will run with it. You and our sister as well. We need to mobilize our students, and anything you need from IPOB leadership to make that happen, we'll do it. Another thing we are going to do in America is this. You must start IPOB family in your neighborhood. Some may not come out in the open. We must also create an avenue for those of them from zoo. You understand? They can come, you know the Nicodemus in our midst. They can come to the back door. We also accommodate them. And we must take this very gospel to every association, every group. Yes. Our children must have their own gathering. Don't you see what they're doing back home? Yeah, don't you see it? Yes. Children, 6 years old, 8 years old, they do their own thing. The fathers do their own thing. So the kids will also do theirs as well. And our students too. The thing about it is that there's always this concerted effort to make you feel ashamed of Biafra and who you are. Don't allow them to succeed. Never allow them to succeed. We shall and of course, as we develop all these new ideas as to what we are going to do, and I'm even sure that our woman leader here, they also have their plans, and their wing is also growing very rapidly. Yes. Is to try as much as we can, wherever you are a coordinator. Are you listening to me? Yes. Wherever you, I have said this many times, on your street, you are a coordinator. Start an IPOB family wherever you are. Start one. In your school, you start one. Wherever you are, you start one. That is how we'll get this message across to our people. Thank you very much. Our sister, please.
I have to speak about the great to M.N.K.M.U.B.B because, to be honest with you, I love IPOB with all my heart. They have been trying to make me stop, but I told them, look, I even want to know when they will start turning us here because we're going to call home when it starts. Because war is inevitable. And I keep asking them, when are we going to start training here to carry the gun? The only thing that we have to be aware that it's going to happen. And they're going to come home. And I will not go home not knowing how to shoot. Because before you kill me, at least I'm going to kill somebody. Because I will not be there watching them to kill me. So I keep asking them, when I go, they're going to start training out here. We can go to shooting range. But we have to start by planning it with our leaders here. The guy that said about our leaders here is because he said the truth. I could have dropped out since. But due to the love I have for IPOB, I couldn't drop out. The leaders you have here, that lead IPOB here, they are 16th century men who have no understanding. We are 21st century people. And this guy is leading up with archaic ideas. When you bring an idea, even a child can tell an adult to run away from danger. You don't have to say because you're a child, I will not run away from danger. If I tell you there's a danger, listen to me. The leadership you have here is the problem IPOB have. And the reason why Biafra have not is because America is the one that will lead IPOB. No other people. This is where the money is. This is where the manpower is. This is where everything is. And we, all of us here, whether you like it or not, we need to carry gun. We need to know how to shoot. I don't know yet, but I want to know how to do it. But we need to start coordinating it. But the leadership here, when you are talking to them, they push you back. They're like, who are you to tell me what to do? I'm like, I'm a nobody. But I'm here because I love Biafra. I want to go home. I cannot walk like this forever. I'm dying. I want to go home. I know. But I want to go home. I cannot walk like this in the next 20 years like this. And if Fulani go and occupy my father's land, where am I gonna go when I go home? To kill me will be easy for them, because if they get people down there, when they guys who will do that? Nobody. So Ahmadike, God sent you to do this work.
Yes.
I know it's not easy. I'm sorry for the death of your mother and your father. And I don't know how God give you the strength to keep carrying on. Because I will not be able to carry on if it is me. I cannot carry on because I will break down. Because I know what it is. But the way you carry on like nothing happened.
God will strengthen you.
And God has created you for this.
Yes.
I know you sacrifice everything you have for this. But God will repay you.
God will help.
I keep telling them, they say that they tell me I'm a radical. I say, no, I'm not a radical. I know what is happening back down there, and it's paining me because it's my people that they are killing. And who is killing us? Dirty people that live in the bush.
Yes.
They do not want to come and watch my own TV in my own house, that is a mansion. And imagine want to come and occupy my own house from the bush that they are. And they will not even know how to keep it. Because when they come in, they will just mess up everywhere. Because they don't know what it is. We are brought up decent. They are not brought up decent. They don't know what it means to keep anything. And they want to come and occupy us. Take our own father's house. So for God to bring you out to do this, He will keep you. And will give you the strength.
Nothing's going to happen to you. Nothing will ever happen to you.
Thank you very much, my dear sister. Thank you very much for that. As I said before, there is a place where you will work. Everybody has a job to do in IPOB, all of us here together. There's something, somebody will come around and take your details. There's something you will do for us. And then we can move on because IPOB structure and the way we work is designed to make sure that we don't lose focus or discipline along the way. Sometimes it may not all go well with some of the radical ideas that we have, but we still welcome those ideas and we intend to implement them. But I think you work with the women's wing to make sure that some of those ideas are implemented. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm Steven. I have to thank you, Mr. Chairman or President. I have to give you that President. We are saying.
Inflate your voice.
Please, I have to thank you, for all what you are doing. It's not easy.
It's not.
It's not easy because a lot of things are going on, and you put it aside and keep moving on. I pray that God will give you the grace to carry on this mission, and nothing will happen to you.
Yes,
and we pray that we're behind you. In anything we can do to support you, I hope we will do. And I'm saying it this evening, please, that $1 is not enough. If you can do $20, I think $20 will be enough at least. Let's do $20. Let's say $10 going for the phone and $10 for his, moving around, going, because whenever he comes here, you got to rent a car, come to this place.
For your information, it is from $1 up.
From $1.
From $1 up. It's not $1, it's from $1.
And secondly, whenever I look on internet, I always cry each and every day. All these people moving every corner of Biafra land. I don't even sleep because I have brothers and sisters. Because actually, and if you are here and your people are there dying, tell me how you are going to sleep or how you are going to eat and have peace of mind. To be honest to you, that bothers me a lot. And now my question is this: the way things are going on, they are bringing their troops each and every day. How do we have anything in case if this thing happen? Do we have anything
for those that are back home to start with. You understand? That is why I'm talking about $1 cannot, help us. And another thing, please, let me say it here. Everybody that is here, know it right from this moment. We are not free. Nobody think that you are free. Even if you are free here, your people back home are not free.
Of course.
Please, let us do something before it is too late.
Yes.
Before it is too late. Unless somebody that doesn't watch his cell phone each and every minute. Sometimes I quarrel with my wife because I don't sleep. I'm telling you, each and every minute I'm on my phone, I'm shedding tears. Sometimes she brings food, I say I'm not eating because I know what it is. I witnessed Biafran War when I was little. People died, and we don't want something to happen. Please, we need something. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my dear brother. I know that some of you have work to go to. What we are saying is that $1 is the minimum, and the best thing for us to do is identify who your local coordinator is. If you have no coordinator, you start an IPOB family where you are. As simple as that. Please, wherever you are, you start an IPOB family. And make contacts with the state coordinator. And then from there, we take it on. Thank you very much. Can our mother here have, I call everybody mother. Once you're a woman, you're a mother. Can you give her the microphone so she can speak, please?
Two mothers.
That's another mother. Okay.
One is the mother is coming. Another mother is sitting there.
My sister was crying that she's still here. Look at me with my age. I've got my children, all my children are in Nigeria. Whenever I tell them I want to come here, they say, Mommy, it's better to stay here. No matter how you are suffering, you are helping us down here. If you come home, you can't stay for 1 year, and you are gone. I started thinking, I said, so now I'm in a foreign land. I don't know what.
What is? Can you microphone?
Thank you. I want to use this opportunity first of all to thank the day the zoo kidnapped M.N.K.M.U.B.B. I was going to work, and M.N.K.M.U.B.B. came up on Radio Biafra and announced that DSS have kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu and they're on their way to Abuja. I turned my car. I went to because I couldn't move. I couldn't see anymore. Let me tell you, the restlessness of which may fall during the absence of M.N.K.M.U.B.B, very trying 2 years period of our time, is the reason why we are still here.
Yes.
Despite all temptations, all the troubles he went through, sabotage,
Yes.
despair, he kept me alive.
Yes.
And I want this opportunity, please, to clap for him. Clap for him.
One more call. One more call.
And like they say in America here, loyalty is number one.
Always.
Loyalty is number two.
Yes.
Loyalty number three.
Yes, always.
There is no
Always.
point telling me, oh, my wife is very pretty and I have a pretty husband and everything, and he doesn't come home even before 12 midnight. There is worthless.
Always.
Loyalty is number one. Even in this
Always.
country, most of you who are in corporate America here
Yes.
know that if you are not loyal, if you like manufacturing a plane, you are off.
Subordination.
That is number one.
Always.
Now, I would just want to go, I'll take about 2 minutes. Somebody came here and mentioned the reason why our people are not joining IPOB or coming out. And I will refer you to a famous black abolitionist. His name is Nat Turner. He's from Southampton, Virginia, born in 1800, and he died in 1831. And I quote him. He came out and gathered 1,000 men and said, how many of you need freedom? Move forward. And 900, this is a real story, you can Google it. 900 moved forward. And the 100 was left behind. And he said, ladies and gentlemen, we have to get rid of this one behind me because this is our real problem. You can Google it. It's a great story. He led Nat Turner, N-A-T, Nat Turner. This guy led the first revolution and abolitionist movement. He gathered the whole, both the freed slaves and unfreed slaves. And in 1831, when he saw an eclipse, it's a true story, of the sun. If you look at it, you see it passed through Virginia. And he said it was his black ancestors that gave him this sign to strike. And he led them, and they killed 60 white people, children, men and men, that night. This guy was one of the brightest preachers. He taught himself, read this Bible. He said he was inspired. And that is why they descended on the black slaves in 1831, 32, 33, 34. Massacred, that is, killed all of them. Tried Turner. Turner was flayed. Beheaded him. His head is now in National Museum, Black Museum, his head, because they have to find him. Even the judge who tried him wrote a book. They call it Natas Confession. So that is why in every gathering, in any war, they treat saboteurs very harshly. People gave him up because he went and hid, and somebody went and told the enemies where he was hiding in a culvert that was covered by a fence. Enemies within is our problem. Some people are complaining that people are not joining when he goes to a meeting and then nobody wants to talk about Biafra.
Always.
Be it Enugu, I'm from Enugu State. Be it Anambra, Abia, and everything. And you know why? All 99.9% of all the presidents, all the public relations officers for Igbo or Biafran land in this country, we are sponsored and paid for by our politicians back home. Always. They were paid and put there. They are also members of this forum. So when they talk and they see you, they call themselves, oh, get rid of this one. We don't like what he's saying. And they get rid of you. They are paid agents. They are paid monthly. Some of them have been offered houses back home. So that's why I say, oh, if you want to do it, this is not the forum. You have to go to another forum. That's not true. There is no true Biafran who do not want to be free. We are in this country because some people died, fought for it, were free in this place, opening our mouth and starting enjoying air condition. Since you came here, they have never taken the light or the water, unless there's severe weather. Even then, they will apologize to you.
Always.
And we enjoy it here, and they tell me that these guys are normal.
They're not.
Let me tell you, it's not going to stop because they know that the power is here. Every association, that's why they're fighting us in here. It is a very relentless war. You're looking at a guy who has been excluded from Enugu, USA because the first video that was posted when the man was chased in Germany. A friend of mine, a cardiac surgeon, and a schoolmate, and a classmate, a roommate, sent me that video. And there were people who sent it out and made it viral. And they traced it to me and made sure they removed me from Forum of Enugu USA till today.
Better for you.
Better for you.
No. Meanwhile, I am the highest donor, the chairman of all the occasions in that forum. By the way, I'm a medical doctor of 35 good years.
We know that.
Good one for that matter.
Always. The best.
So,
The best.
I'm telling you, you people cannot give up. Because you are looking at a divine man with a divine project.
Yes, of course.
Let me tell you too. I heard people are complaining leadership and everything. It is not easy to lead our people.
Always.
You have to realize that one quality of leadership is you lead by example. If you criticize me once, please praise me. If you criticize me 3 times, praise me once. Secrecy is source of power. There's a reason why we give this short notice. We give about, say, 2 days or 2 hours. There's a reason for that. And those people that make sure that this guy is safe, this man, I want onion do. These people have a cry for him. Because onion didn't do. That's okay. Of course. So, munam, because ihe ga-adịcha na mma.
Always. Keep it up. She's from Texas.
Because Animal 101 online for our children. And the reason is M.N.K.M.U.B.B Dr. Esther Eke.
The doctor can carry a bag.
Following our supreme leader, even though I'm not a member, but as of today, I like what we're doing. So I really can see. Yes. And when I parents again, every day, every leka, anyway, we are here in Houston, Texas. And because I'm has not anywhere fake news and as normal, I don't hate you.
All the way from Houston.
Yes. It's not true. I say, okay, I'm overwhelmed. Yes. I'm very, very overwhelmed. I've been here in the U.S. for 30 years. It's time for us to go home.
Yes.
And
right.
To the point that we are all here wasting our talent. And really, we can build the nation there.
Yes,
okay? I mean, in terms of hospitals, laboratories, and everything. You know,
we have it all.
We're just praying for this Biafra to be reality. And all of us will come out. Yes. But right now, question for you is, I took on the Facebook now advertising here in Megan. In fact, I'm not on the follow. In fact, I have the Biafra app. So problem when now when the live in the Cameroon that English speaking Cameroonians has it. They actually joined the Biafra because I back a hashi. So when he came in a cuisine now, let's expand. Now say Biafra home for Igbo people. It's for all of us. You know? So the tribes, Mandi, Rivers, all those people, even Yoruba people, they're all those guys. So in weekend night, now say, okay, Biafra is for you and me.
Even Hausa people.
Of course we have.
So I thank you.
That one now. A person I never met.
So thank you so much.
You see? My good one. Thank you. My good husband. Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much. I want to answer what you said regarding Ambazonia. Regarding Ambazonia. When the Ambazonian president went to Sweden, he was also welcomed by Biafrans. He was also welcomed by Biafrans when the Ambazonian president went to Sweden. So we are a lot closer than the outside world. No. And for understandable and strategic reasons, we are keeping it that way. So we are all one, and who knows, in the future, we may even become one nation. And IPOB, as I said earlier, is fighting for the liberation of everybody. There are people from Edo that want to be part of Biafra. You can't stop them. Anybody can join IPOB. Anybody can, including Hausa people, that can join if they want. If you subscribe to our way of life, value system, live and let live, democracy, equality before the law, then you're a Biafran. So we are fighting for everybody. Thank you very much. Thank you. And okay. After you, please, can they give to that our mother? Yeah, she's been. I asked her to speak for a while. After you, then it's her, please.
Thank you. All the Biafran. Dr. Donald,
another Dr. Kwabikon.
Dr. Kankweba.
My goodness.
I have an observation.
Go ahead, please.
Each time you pronounce something right in your face, some people dislodge what you say. I followed your broadcast. I listened to your broadcast in Israel. You said, let there be county by county. Let's establish county by county families. And they are all families should have their coordinators and everything. And right now, you just said that you can become a coordinator wherever you are. But we have a problem, sir.
Yeah, what is it?
The problem is, those of us that will start families are not recognized by the cabal or
No, we don't use that word.
Some clique or some people that arrogate to themselves some level of power or authority to dislodge the main focus of IPOB. They thereby exclude the majority and then walk in seclusion. Now, my point is this again. There is a problem right here in Maryland. And I remember in Atlanta, you appointed a national mobilizer who should be in charge of affairs of IPOB nationwide. To our surprise, you'll be amazed that this man has been sidelined and he cannot operate. And second of all, there is this idea from the national coordinator. I say things they are. I say things the way they are. I'm fearless. There is somebody in the name of a national coordinator who professed to somebody that if the zoo government gives him money, that he will take it, but then will not deliver what they want. This is a clue of the kind of people that are the helm of affairs in the United States of America. The movement of IPOB is stalled. You might not see it from England. We live here, we see it. There is no progress anywhere, sir.
That's right.
Sir, Deputy Uche was here 2 years ago, last year, 2 years? 2 years ago.
Yeah, last year.
Yes.
Last year.
He tried to fix the situation in the name that everything was okay. He left, things went back to square one. You even looked somebody in the face who accused somebody of stealing public funds and said, do you have any evidence that he stole money from the meeting, from the family? Yaso Mba. But to our surprise, to your surprise, the rumor still goes on that somebody stole somebody's money, group's money and everything. So this is the problem we have, sir. Please, I don't know how you're going to do it, but it would be nice if you fix this problem before you leave. We want to move forward, just like what my sister said. This is 21st century. We have capable men and women that can execute IPOB projects. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I want to answer very, very quickly, please.
Quiet.
I appointed a national mobilization officer, and I want the whole world, because the world, we are live to the whole world.
Yes.
Don't mind that you're just seeing only 2 computers here. The whole world, people are listening in Biafra land via FM.
Yes.
So everything you're doing here, the whole world is observing it, watching and listening attentively. There is a way that IPOB works. I have said here, go and become a coordinator wherever you live. But that doesn't mean that you are IPOB on your own, doing whatever you like. We all have a chain of command you have to respond to. That's how we operate. The national mobilization is trying to do in IPOB, give him advice, and he may not take it today, tomorrow he will take it. That's the way it is. And another thing is this: as long as you're able to function and flourish in IPOB, your ideas taken on board, you shouldn't have any worries as to who your leadership is. Do you understand? Or else we'll become like any other Igbo organization, struggling all the time to pull down the leadership. As Doc said a while ago, when you criticize somebody 4 times, at least praise them once, so that when you talk to them, they can listen to you. That's what we're going to do. I repeat, please, I repeat very strongly. There is nothing like East Coast. I've seen this flyer. This thing, if you want to run any project involving all these states, Ezekwesili is there. You speak to the various coordinators and you say to them, can we all get together and do something? That's how it's supposed to be. And nobody will exclude anybody. No. Who is excluding you? Wait, hold on. Hold on a second. Hold on. You, hold on. please listen to me. Listen to me. Which state do you belong to?
My name is Jesse Moke. I'm from Afara, and in Imo State. I'm with the Maryland PG. Maryland.
That's what I want to hear. Maryland.
Yes.
Who is the coordinator for Maryland here? Who is the coordinator?
Can I tell you what you have at these two people? Hold on.
Please, hold on a second. Hold on. No. I want the state coordinator. Hold on. Wait. I said wait. Hold on. I want us to understand how IPOB functions. If you are from Maryland, this is your coordinator. Hang on. Hey.